Hello, everybody. Fearmy Games here back once again with some Rome Total War 2. This is actually my second take of this video. I was 6 minutes into the other one when I realized that I forgot to change the settings to Rome 2. So I was like talking, I looked over to my right, which is where my recording software is, and I'm like, except my webcam, everything is black. Shit. And I was like, it was fighting a battle with the loading screen. Oh, it was a situation, but it's been fixed. We're fine. I noticed the audio was a little bit loud in the game, so I reduced it. If it's too quiet for you guys, just let me know, and I'll try finagling it a bit more. But we are back. We have a perfect situation for us. We are right outside the capital city over here with its big looking garrison. Which I've been real when during my failed thing, I realized the governor guards are only medium spearmen. That's not very strong. But I do have a lot of townsfolk and some javelin men here, so we'll see how much of trouble they are. But we're in a great situation where we've drawn the garrison out of their walls into an open field battle, where I will most certainly slaughter them, which should hopefully open up the walls. What I'm planning on doing here is once I destroy the city, I'm gonna start the loading screen here while I do a talk about it. Is when I attack the city, I don't plan on taking it because I don't want to occupy it, and it can be. It's and a lot of my allies are enemies of it, which means they're still going to be enemies even though it's my client state. So it'd just be kind of a little bit inconvenient there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and weaken them as much as I can, and then open it up for my allies to take who are enemies of them to take them. So I honestly do not want that settlement. While it is a capital, I don't have the rest of the area, and I don't feel like destroying my vassals. That kind of breaks my role play a little bit. I don't actively go talk to you. It's not like like a storybook where I'm reading it out to you guys like it's a fancy production, but I still have a little bit of a role play in my heart about it's like I made them my vassals. Why would I make you my vassal only to kill you a couple turns later? That doesn't fit my empire building role play. So what's basically going to happen in those instances is that I'm going to try and weaken it and allow my uh, and hopefully kind of get one of my client states to take it for me, so I don't have that area for myself. And I don't have to worry about my own client states fighting each other for no good reason. I mean, it's good reason. The guy deserves death, but and wait, a reason that could inconvenience me. I really wish I could just fully shut off the advice. I hate it so much. Looking at our guys up in formation. I want to look at our mercenary guys. We haven't really had a chance to look at these guys yet because I just recruited them. Simple circle your shields. Doesn't look like metal armor. It looks like padded armor. It looks like some cloth. I think all these guys are wearing pad cloth armors, and looks to be like wooden shields with some metal framing and one in the center. I think is how that's designed. And then of course we got our reliable, ever reliable bowman. These aren't the highest end ones if I remember correctly. Now these are my original archers, my Caucasian. I feel like, but it's like from the Caucasus. So I feel like it should be like you know, oh well, Caucasian archers. So we're trying. What I want to do is I want to make sure these guys are in range of my archers, so my archers can just kill their archers, and we'll be all good to go. Hopefully. I'm actually closer than my first attempt, which I'm not going to complain about because it means our archers are more able to hit them directly. But it did make them change their target from a shielded infantry unit to archers, so it's going to cause me a little bit of extra lost men, which is my bad. I would be tempted to move these guys up, but I don't think they're... I think they're going to have time, because I think these guys are just going to wait for the rest of the army to catch up. Wait, these guys aren't even moving. I guess not. Well, if these guys don't move, we have archer fire to pepper them. They are shielded, which is the only problem we're going to have. I would like these guys slightly more angled, so what I'm trying to do is pull back the right flank, move forward the left flank, and what this is hopefully going to do is, just make it so our line is a bit more straight against what their line's going to do. Yeah, but now archers can start peppering them again. These guys haven't lost anything yet, but I don't think we really had many volleys of archers yet. We'll see. The arrows striking the shields. A couple of them going through, but not striking their hearts yet. They're doing a good job of holding. Bright side is that while I don't think they're killing them, I still think this somewhat affects the hit point pool of the units. If I remember how they do this one correctly. So while no models are dead, I'm hoping this is tearing away at the unit's health pool. Yeah, this guy's actually lost one. I think that was the only one. They started to lose a couple over here too. It is going to be a bit of a drain on our archers, and they're not going to be the juiciest targets. So it might not be the best thing to do. It might just be better just to advance our infantry instead. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to advance our infantry a little bit here. I'm going to have my front line walk. But I want my archers to speed the fire as much as possible. So I'm going to have my archers run. Oh, these guys actually have javelins. I didn't really think about that. My guys don't have javelins. Well, at least not my spearmen. So I'm actually taking more damage. But if this does prompt them to attack, it's not the end of the world. Because, as I said, we're not wasting as many arrows on these guys then. And we can start the battle proper. Once these guys get close enough to start engaging, I'm going to turn off the firing here. Now I'm going to start these guys here. I'm going to move these guys not into the fight proper, but actually beyond the fight. To try and dissuade the enemy from interfering. I'm going to put these guys now in their own subgroup because I'm going to need to control these guys more manually. I'd like them to fire upon that the chariot there. To try and weaken them because they actually could be a threat. I just have to be careful that my archers don't get themselves killed doing something dumb. Like these two. See, I'm gonna grab you guys. I'm gonna reorganize your line here a bit better. Oops. I did not do that right. At all. Okay, now we're in a better position to fire out the chariots. All this guys broke before I got into position. Oops. But now we have our archers firing onto their chariots, which is good for us. The rest of the army's still hanging back over here. I feel like the AI doesn't really want to engage us, but they're kind of that or they're just dumb. Both of those things are a possibility. I'm going to be honest. If we can destroy as many of the enemy as possible before the fight really gets off, that'd be really good for us. Once we finish off these enemies here, which should be pretty quick, I'm going to reform the lines. Why is my hoplite? I don't know why he's right here. It's a bit strange. Chariots are broken now. Yeah, but the more of these garrisons we defeat, the easier it'll be when we actually get to it. And all these Governor's Guard are garrison units. I should fall back now. I'm gonna follow these guys back over here. They should have a... should be prepared. Looks like the enemy's prioritizing attacking with their ranged attack instead of there. So we're gonna take this as an opportunity to move our troops up into a decent line here. Yeah, that cav unit regretted its life choices pretty dang quickly there. Which means I should be able to now re-engage these guys there. Yeah, those guys have shattered. They have no chance of coming back. Except for you. I'm going to remove you from the group so you don't get dragged into this. But I'm going to reform the line now. Controlling the archers separately, though, so that way I can position them where I want them to a bit better. I'm going to speed this up because it doesn't look like the AI is going to be engaged, like, throw anything at me until I'm in position, so I'm just going to let it speed up, save some time in the recording for this from this battle. It's not like it's an all-important battle for me. It's simply a tracking down on a weak enemy. As my last video said, squishing an ant is basically what I'm doing here. Looks like my movement has prompted the enemy to start doing stuff, which is good. I'm going to allow my units to start firing at will again. Though I've ordered 3 of them to start targeting their missile cavalry, because missile cavalry are better targets than their shielded infantry for value. I'm not worried about the townsfolk at all, to be honest. I'm going to walk them over here. I'm going to start maneuvering my guys around the flanks a little bit. Yeah, these guys should have no problem beating these guys, but they are outnumbered. But that's the only, the unit losing decisively. I was gonna say, but that's the only advantage they have. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to position these guys. These archers are just about finished killing off the cav unit there. That's perfect. I'm organizing these guys to basically get a decent flank off here. That one's already breaking over there. Yeah, especially if I get these archers killed, that would be perfect.
your orders, citizen cavalry. We'll kill them all.
I mean, archers are out of ammunition, but they're still good for running down enemies and getting flanks off. As those of you who've seen the earlier episodes would know, it's one of my favorite things to do with archers that are out of ammunition.
War elephants. Archers.
And the battle is over, I think. And the last units of them are breaking. As I said, we want to kill as many as possible, so I'm not going to just end the battle here. I'm going to let it play out a bit more. I'm going to speed this part up here so that we don't have to be stuck in it too much. I think that guy's going to make it. I don't think even my cap can reach him. But there's some guys still in the big swarm in my units that are being butchered. Yeah, this should be taking the easy the city now child's play. Where they've deployed 1,000 more men than I do, but I only lost 379 units. They lost 2,410 units, and they're about to lose even more. The only problem I have with Rome 2, I don't know if it's Rome 2 or Divide and Pair or just a combination of both, but the loading screens can be quite a while, can't they? Yeah, the quote is, "I'm dying, Egypt, dying." Mark Antony, Roman general and statesman, 83 to 30 BC. Before, it's not, it is before Christ. It's the AD is the one that I can ever remember because in Latin. Yeah, because of that, I could just never remember what it means. It's like anime doname. I don't remember, and I'm not even gonna try. AD BC. That's all I need. What does that mean? Ask your local preacher. But the hero units of a fight, the archers did a pretty decent job, but they didn't get a crazy amount of kills. In their own right, but the elephants 276, Syrian infantry 244. One of them, like in this other guy who was I think it was a flanking force, or at least attacking the enemy archers, 428. Big value on those guys. These guys aren't even worth being enslaved. They're just worth being slaughtered. So we can technically do that all over again if we had enough movement. Actually, we do have enough movement. Never mind. I'm just going to auto-resolve this one. I know it's going to lead to more of a deaths on my part, but it's like, I might as well. I kill this army here. Further weakening the enemy garrison, mind you. The enemy garrison's all dead. This city is ripe for the taking, so I'm just going to right-click on it. So I have multiple options. I could liberate it? Oh, that's actually going to be pretty nice. I'm thinking I might just do that. But I could occupy, which I don't want to do. I could loot it, which is I'm inclined to do. I think looting it still means I occupy, don't it? It's like loot and occupy, or maybe it's just looting. I could subjugate it, which would make them my slaves, my vassals, my bitch, depending how you want to put it. I could sack it, just get as much money out of it as possible, which is, compared to how much money I make per turn, it's not a whole lot. Or I could raise it, which basically means it's all destroyed. Or I could liberate them. I'm curious to see what liberation is going to be. I would assume this was their location, but let's see. So these guys become the Gondophoid Dynasty. Do they start at war with anybody? I hope not. Because I just liberated them, and because I liberated them, they've now become my military allies. I can't make them a client state because they're like, you just freed us. Why would you subjugate us? Which, I mean, if I really wanted to, I had completely butchered that garrison. Even though they had a populated army, I could still probably beat it with my weakened army. But no, I've done what I wanted to do. I made it so I didn't have to take the city because I didn't want it. And my vassals won't attack it because it's a military ally of mine, and they should know I'm gonna bitch slap them if they try anything. The Ares Dread, though, they've done the work they needed to do, but they now need to make it back to Mesopotamia, where they can get replenished, relax for a little bit, and then get ready for a eventual rebellion in this region because, yeah, there's a lot of bad public order problems here. A lot of it has to do with food. A little bit to do with faction, apparently. A cultural differences, taxes, slaves. Most of it's food. Which sucks, because I put a lot of food. I have actually a decent amount of food here, but what's a shame is that if I do this, I will lose out. I mean, I think it's not the end of the world if it helps with the food problem. Fortunately, the most amount of food also creates the most amount of banditry. And banditry is also its own problem. I mean, I know they do it because they can be able balancing act. Do you want to do this or this? And it's just like, could I just, not have food problems? I guess I'm just gonna have to build a granary. And the granary creates the least amount of food, but it also doesn't make any banditry. So it's kind of like, I guess that's just what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it's a shame that I'm gonna lose on the war houses here, but I think that might help with that problem. I can't trade with these guys because there's no direct ports to this guy, so he's kind of just my friend, and that's about it. My new friend. Alright, so let's kind of look over here to the west. So we're currently besieging Pella. To be honest, I could break off the siege if I wanted to attack that guy and try and do what I did before and weaken the garrison early. It's definitely not a bad idea. One more turn and these guys will be in a position where they can, even if I hope I don't lose this settlement to these guys, but at the very least I'll be in a position to avenge them. I want to move up, but I also don't know where the enemy army went. I thought I saw over here. Looks like they have a champion over here.
Ready for orders.
They have a scout. So they know that I'm creating an army over here now. I will take a few turns to create. Now, these two armies here are taking their sweet time, but they'll get there eventually. These guys will secure Poltava, which a bit unfortunate because it means I won't be able to secure this full region, but it's also not the end of the world. Just means I have to make sure we secure this area over here as fast as we can. I think I am going to prioritize Greece and kind of make this more of a defensive action. Once the Ares Dread are rested and recovering, I think I'm going to drag them over here, all the way up and over here, and then send them to Salamis. Because I've been blockading it forever, but my blockading it doesn't really do much. So hopefully, once we can get a good army in, we should just easily take that settlement, no problem. And then Rome won't have anything left in the east. Weapon proficiency. Well, well, that's going to be bad. It's going to be no one. But I do like the melee attack. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see what I can do on like the research side to help deal with all the problems I'm having with unrest. But there's nothing particular I can do. So I'm looking forward to getting this done because this will just increase the usefulness of all my units. And then I think I'll go back to economics. So this stuff is nice for sieging and stuff like that. I don't think I need it right now. Let's check the political landscape. These guys still have a decent amount of power. I think they've actually still gained some power. But I'm going to hold off on purging them until I can secure more loyalty from my nobles. What I could potentially do is I could send gifts around here. Try and play up their loyalty. I'm going to secure this guy's promotion because according to this, it actually is a benefit to the ruling party and increases their loyalty. So I'm going to do that now. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems in the future. But these guys both of these guys look to be generals in my army, so hoping it works out nicely. You search a spouse. You might need some kids to keep your family lineage going. Now, this is my dynasty. I don't think we're going to be wiping out anytime soon because of all the adoptions I did. And this guy has actually been fairly prolific. I think yellow is adopted. I think that's what that means. Well, these are like my natural born children. Alexa Nils died. You know, she's actually alive and married to a general. He's alive, but he's not a general. This guy here is adopted. This guy is a career strategos. And Lucan the second, he's in the Ares Dread. He's the one I just was fighting with. I adopted him. Spartacus, we adopted him. His children are still in my tree, but he's died, unfortunately. At age 38, too. That. Festus. Yeah, we're buds, right? Yeah, we're buds. I had to double check. Because I remember I was like saying we're friends for last time, but I was like, I actually didn't check to make sure we were friends. Oops. Okay, we have stuff building. I don't think there's anything desperate that we need to do right this moment. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the end turn sequence, see how things go, how things change in the region. Oops. Then that'd be probably a pretty good point to stop it because, I mean, it's getting late. It's time for me to go to bed. But I wanted to record these videos before I went to bed. Thankfully tomorrow's Saturday, and for the first, and I don't work on Saturdays now. Oh, they just made a huge mistake. Really good for me, but really bad for them. What the enemy has done here is that I was besieging them. I would lose a decent amount of guys attacking their walls, but because I have a lot of cavalry. My hoplites are very good on the walls, so we better break through the gates and go through there. But they've just attacked me, which means this is now an open field battle, which is what actually in my advantage, because they have more infantry than I do. I have more archers and I have more cav than they do. So this is a really good thing for us. So next time we're gonna fight off these Romans, and we're going to hopefully allow us then to take Pella with little to no difficulty. We just have to make sure we slaughter the garrison like we did with this other guy. I do appreciate you guys so much for watching. This is a great stopping point. I hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, wherever you guys may be, and I'll see you guys next time.